Levi Colwill, Craig, just something we wanted to come to you with. Obviously, he's got that injury. It's going to be a big blow for Chelsea. How big a blow for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca, tearing his ACL and having to undergo surgery?
Yeah, another huge blow, because he was starting to show the consistency that we all know that he's got. Obviously spent a period out in loan at Brighton. That was quite some time ago. Has come back in, has impressed, and is a surefire starter. So it is a blow. And as a centre half, Frank, are they going to be in a good enough position to do without him and continue this kind of wave of excitement that seems to be around Chelsea at the moment? I mean, I'm not quite sure they're going to have the consistency to stay with Liverpool and Arsenal, or even the quality for that matter. But have they got enough in reserve to be able to cover for the likes of Levi Colwill?
You not replace somebody like Colwill simply and easily, and they're going to struggle a little bit. But I want to believe that Tosin and Chalobah can do the job. Chalobah came back from a loan in Crystal Palace and has been very, very good since he came back and grew up a lot, I would say. So we have to trust the two players. They don't have any other choices. I mean, the others are there.
Desai come back from loan spell as well.
But
it's clear that he doesn't fancy.
No, he doesn't fancy. And Badiashile is a talented player, and you have some others, but they're not at the level, of course, of Chalobah, Tosin, and of course Colwill. So they're going to struggle. They have to find also, or they have to have a decision for the goalkeeper, whether it's going to be Jorgensen or another one. But they have to make sure those three players are solid: the goalkeeper and the two centre backs. And of course, not having Colwill is kind of a blow.
I think, Kay, there is actually an extra pressure on Chelsea now with that performance at the Club World Cup. Whether we think the Club World Cup was great or not, I think there is an extra pressure on Maresca because they surprise people and perform so well that if they drop below that at the start of the Premier League season and they sort of huff and puff a little bit, I think the fans will say, well, what's happening? We should be, in the summer we won 2 trophies last year. There's so much hope around what this team was going to do. And so from that point of view, that win against PSG, I think, is certainly amongst Chelsea fans, has raised the expectations, and I think that is going to put a little bit more pressure on them at the start of the season.
Yeah, I just want to say one thing, having watched them yesterday against Bayern Leverkusen, I think that offensively, there is no doubt that they're gonna do the job, and they're gonna be fast, and it's gonna be a threat to all defenses in the middle of the park. I'm very happy to what I see, even with Enzo Fernandez being injured. It's only the question mark of the centre backs, but you have Reece James who can play also in the middle of the park, can play centre backs. So there are solutions. It's up to Enzo Maresca to decide well who's going to play or not. But I'm confident.
Do you know that noise you get when your AirPods just sort of drop out? I think I just got that. So if we throw back to the studio and a question comes back and I ignore it, I can't hear you. So it was.
What is your prediction?
5% battery. This show can't go on too long.
The Levi Colwill situation. Are you going into the ranks, or are you looking to get a replacement? There are differing reports out there.
Listen, I think they need to go and sign a bona fide centre back. Before the season's, or before the injury, it was Levi Colwill and who? That's where it was. Now there's no Levi Colwill, and you're looking at what they have. It's going to be good enough against 70% of the Premier League. The problem is when you come up against the best, that partnership, whatever it is, because there isn't a great one. Looking down what they have, there isn't a great partnership. But whatever it is, isn't going to be good enough against the best players, and that's what's going to hold them back.
And Frank.
Chelsea news script: major defensive blow rocks Stamford Bridge. Right then, Blues fans, we need to have a serious chat about what's just happened at Cobham, and I'm afraid it's not the news any of us wanted to hear as we gear up for what should be an exciting new season. The bombshell dropped this week when Chelsea confirmed that Levi Colwill has suffered an anterior cruciate ligament injury during his very first training session back at Cobham. The 22-year-old defender, who had only just returned from the Club World Cup triumph in America, went down in what was described as a non-contact incident during the final minutes of Monday's session and immediately signaled for medical assistance. The club has since confirmed that Levi underwent successful surgery, but here's the harsh reality. He's going to miss the majority of the 2025-26 season, if not all of it. Before we dive deeper into what this means for Chelsea, I need you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're bringing you all the exclusive Chelsea content you need, breaking down every twist and turn of this incredible journey under Enzo Maresca. Your support keeps us going, so smash that subscribe button and let's build the biggest Chelsea community on YouTube together. Now, let's talk about just how massive this blow really is. Levi Colwill isn't just any squad player. He was absolutely fundamental to everything Enzo Maresca achieved in his debut season at Stamford Bridge. The England international made 43 appearances across all competitions last season, starting 35 Premier League matches and playing a crucial role in our Conference League triumph and that incredible Club World Cup victory over Paris Saint-Germain. What makes this injury even more devastating is the timing. Colwill had literally just walked back through the doors at Cobham after 3 weeks off following our Club World Cup celebrations. He was buzzing, ready to kick on from what had been a breakthrough season for him personally, and then this happens in the dying minutes of his first session back. Football can be absolutely brutal sometimes. Enzo Maresca was visibly shaken when he spoke about the injury, admitting that Levi was a main player for us last season and acknowledging that if we achieved what we did, it was also because of him. That's high praise from a manager who doesn't throw compliments around lightly, and it really drives home just how integral Colwill had become to our defensive setup. The question now is how we cope without him, and this is where things get interesting. We've got Tosin Adarabioyo, who's been described as untouchable by the club despite interest from Crystal Palace and West Ham. And that's partly down to his importance in the dressing room and his close friendship with Cole Palmer. There's also Wesley Fofana, who's just returned to training after yet another long injury layoff following hamstring surgery in April, Trevoh Chalobah and Benoit Badiashile. But here's the thing. None of them offer that left-footed presence and that composure on the ball that Colwill brings to the table. The timing of Jorel Hato's arrival from Ajax couldn't be better, though. The 19-year-old Dutch international signed for $35.5 million just 1 day before Colwill's injury. And whilst he was initially brought in to provide competition for Marc Cucurella at left back, he's got plenty of experience playing as a centre back. Sometimes football throws you these strange coincidences, and Hato might just be the answer to our prayers. Maresca has already hinted that signing another defender has become a priority following Colwill's setback. The transfer window is still open, and with the Champions League returning to Stamford Bridge this season, we simply cannot afford to go into the campaign light at the back. The likes of Mark Guehi have been mentioned, though Crystal Palace are hardly going to make that easy for us. What's particularly frustrating is that this comes at a time when expectations around Chelsea are sky high. That Club World Cup victory over PSG really captured the imagination of the fan base, and rightly so. We outplayed the European champions with Cole Palmer, who's now wearing the iconic number 10 shirt, scoring twice and providing an assist in a dominant 3-0 victory. It was a statement performance that suggested we're ready to compete with Europe's elite again, and Palmer was rightly awarded the Golden Ball as the tournament's best player. But here's the reality check. Injuries like this can completely derail a season if not handled properly. We've seen it happen to top clubs before. Manchester City's Rodri suffered a similar ACL injury last September and didn't return until May. That's 8 months out of action. If Colwill follows a similar timeline, we might not see him again until the business end of the season, assuming he returns at all this campaign. Meanwhile, there are even concerns about other key players, with Nicholas Jackson reportedly asking to leave the club and being left out of our recent friendly against Bayer Leverkusen, adding to the defensive uncertainty. The pressure is now firmly on Maresca to prove he can adapt without one of his most trusted players. Last season's success wasn't built on one individual, but losing someone of Colwill's quality and consistency is never easy to stomach. The Italian manager will need to show the tactical flexibility that served him so well at Leicester City, where he guided them to the championship title. From a broader perspective, this injury highlights just how thin our defensive options really are. Yes, we've got numbers, but do we have the quality and depth needed to compete on 4 fronts? The Premier League is more competitive than ever. The Champions League demands perfection, and we'll be looking to defend our Conference League crown whilst also having a proper go at the domestic cups. What gives me hope is the character this squad showed last season. When Christopher and Nkunku were sidelined, others stepped up. When we lost key players at various points, the team found a way to keep pushing forward. That resilience will be tested again now, but if anyone can navigate through this challenge, it's this group under Maresca's guidance. The bigger picture here is that Chelsea's project under Todd Bowley and Clearlake Capital is built for moments like this. We've invested heavily in young talent, we've got depth across the squad, and we've got a manager who's already proven he can win trophies. Losing Colwill is undoubtedly a setback, but it's not a season-ending catastrophe if we handle it correctly. For Levi himself, this is going to be the biggest test of his career so far. ACL injuries are brutal, both physically and mentally, but he's a strong character who's already overcome challenges to establish himself as a key player for club and country. The support network at Chelsea is first class, and he'll have all the resources he needs to come back stronger than ever. As we look ahead to our Premier League opener against Crystal Palace on August 17th, the focus now shifts to who partners whom at the heart of our defense. Will it be Adara Bioyo and Fofana, assuming Wesley can stay fit after his latest return from injury? Can Badia Shield step up and show why we invested so heavily in him? Or will young Hado be thrown in at the deep end to sink or swim in the Premier League? The good news is that Tosin has proven himself as a reliable presence, and the club clearly values his leadership qualities, especially his positive influence on Cole Palmer. Whatever happens, one thing's for certain. This is going to be a defining moment for Enzo Maresca's Chelsea tenure. How we respond to this adversity will tell us everything we need to know about our title credentials and our ability to compete with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Manchester City. The season hasn't even started yet, and we've already got our first major challenge to overcome. But if there's one thing I know about Chelsea, it's that we've always found a way to bounce back stronger from setbacks. This is just another chapter in our story, and I have complete faith that Maresca and this squad will ride it brilliantly.